wipe her child's face. Now let's be clear here. It was plain spit. And we all knew that. Maybe you know the woman who pinches her children in church for falling asleep, not being mindful of all of the fact that their only age is 6, 4, and 2. They wouldn't possibly know what the pastor was talking about in the first place. If any of you know of such a woman, you knew my mother. Now don't get me wrong. The best times I've had in my life are the moments I've shared with my mother and the things that I'm doing now as a mother. But so many times I've told myself, I will never be like my mother. For starters, my mother gave birth to 10 children. Now let's face it, that's like having 2 Brady Bunch families all at once. Don't even mention the Jacksons because we outnumber Tito, Jermaine, and Michael. To make matters worse, she would call us by the wrong names. But we had to answer to whatever my mother would call us. Bingo! Tanya, Lamont, Dino, Rudolph. You know I'm talking about you. Get over here. Y'all know that was my mother. It was your mother, too. These are just a couple of reasons why I told myself I wasn't going to have any children. But one day, some lucky young man made me decide to give birth. And from the very first experience, I was convinced there's absolutely no reason for a woman to do that twice. No offense, man. I felt that there was absolutely no man on this earth worth a woman doing that twice. But to my surprise, 13 years later, I went to the doctor for what appeared to be a very bad cold. And I left the doctor's office that afternoon in pure shock from being told that I was pregnant again. Did I say I was 40? I had to be out of my mind. Having a baby at 40? And man, I must admit, my husband Joseph, he was in shock as well. He made me take a pregnancy test 4 times in 4 different ways before he would believe me. After that baby was born, he looked me in the face and said, if anyone ever tells you you're pregnant again, I'm going to change your name to Mary because that baby would have to be Jesus Christ. Another thing I said is that I would never process my daughter's hair with the likes of pressing oil and a hot comb. Now, I'm looking around, and many of you here know that that was the only method to straighten most little African-American girls' hair back in the day. I can still hear that oil sizzling against my scalp as my mom pulled that hot comb through my hair. It was like feeling as though I was a piece of chicken being fried in a pot of melted Crisco oil. But I had to sit there, be still, she would tell me. And to make matters worse, she loaded my head up full of tight rubber bands, hair barrettes, and beads. Now come on, you admit you've seen those little African-American girls in the grocery stores running around with their heads on tilted. My daughter said, my 15-year-old, I'm so glad to have my man bringing to do my own hair. Now, I really didn't know where she was going with this until I looked in the family photo album. And I saw my child, there she was, sitting in every school picture with her head tilted from the head to the hair. Now, did I say I was not going to be like my mother? Thank God for Mrs. Chain in the corner hair store. I love her. Every month she greets me. Seymour, you want how we have a hobby? I looked at her and said, of course. You know I need hair. My mom brings all of mine out. Now, don't you think I look gorgeous today? I think so. Another thing. Why is it that my mother always made sure the neighborhood knew we were in trouble? I can see her now marching to the sidewalk, yelling our names out. Come here! You hear me calling you? I can visualize us just running down the hill. I thought that had to be the most embarrassing thing a mother could do to a child. Until I caught that 15-year-old of mine on Facebook after hours. Can you imagine that? Just watching her face, it was the most exhilarating thing I could have possibly ever done. I bet she won't do that again. More importantly, she too was probably saying, I will never be like my mother. Now I get the wonderful opportunity to watch that 15-year-old play mother to her 2-year-old. Danny! Don't you say what to our mother. You better say yes, ma'am. You know where we coming from. Danny! Don't you run in that living room. Y'all know black folks don't like people running in that living room. I'm gonna get you. Danny! Come here. Let me clean your face. Where does she get those things? I tell you, she got them from me. Because I learned them from my mother. All in all, no matter how many times I told myself I would never be like my mother, the reality is I'm just like her. And I don't mind, because over the years I've learned that my mom was courageous, she was strong, and she was the most loving woman I would have never known. She was stricken with polio and dealt with years of cancer, but she managed to raise 10 children. And for that reason, I stand before you proud to say she was my mother.